Here we go. Here we go. What's up, guys? I have a 2024 Ram on my right and a 2025 on my left. These are both dualies, and I want to answer that question. Did Ram make a mistake going with the 342s for the 2025 model year? Now, if you don't remember, you could get a 373 standard on 2024 and earlier dually trucks, or a 410 option. So we'll have to answer that question, whether or not maybe Ram should have at least offered a 373 for these 2025s. But we'll discuss that as we get on the road. Let's go ahead and drive the 2025 first, because this is the only truck here that's pretty apples to apples. And yeah, I want to really see how it compares with that older engine transmission setup. I did have two Laramie dualies, but unfortunately someone was actually looking to buy the other one, and they were almost like apples to apples too. I think the only difference was that one had a bench seat, but that one had the 410. But it's okay, this truck is good enough compared to that limited Longhorn for sure. But one thing I've noticed about these 2025s is they do ride a little bit stiffer compared to the 2024s for the single rear wheels. However, for the dualies, they don't seem as stiff. I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it. This truck doesn't even have air suspension, and if you didn't watch my last video, I showed you guys these trucks now have the carryover high output suspension, and these have the, what is it called? I think it's the axle wrap leaf that they have back there. And of course it has the overloads. It's just a more overbuilt suspension with this truck. It has a larger brake still. But yeah, it doesn't ride stiff at all. And I'm shocked by that. And that's a good thing, I guess. I mean, hey, the 2025 just ride a little bit better. And again, there's no changes. I don't know what happened to the ride with these. These ride so much better than they have in the past, but the single rear wheels seem a little bit stiffer. So yeah, that's all. But overall, this is still a really good contender. I know some people are like, don't buy the first model year of anything. Now, the Cummins has a lot of updates to it, hopefully for the better. But this 8-speed transmission has been out since a long time. I think Packard's been using it. Kenworth's been using this transmission too in, you know, higher GCWR trucks. I don't think that this would be a bad buy to get for the first model year. The only thing is the Cummins better? Hopefully they did make it better for this year. Now we're driving the 2024. Now the truck's heavier. It also, wow. This is an Eisen transmission for you, buddy. Oof, the shifts. It's just a very, very, very overbuilt transmission. Made in Japan, owned by a company you guys have probably heard of, Toyota. I've had my foot down on wide open throttle for like almost 5 seconds, and that's the thing about this configuration. It's too funny, man. Like, but it's still a good truck. I don't know why we complain so much about work trucks. This is a work truck, and we are complaining. We complain so much. We got a company to, wow, it's a very harsh transmission, unforgiving. But yeah, we got a manufacturer to find a transmission that shifted better for us. We wanted it to shift better, and they did. There is no denying that when you go from this Eisen to that ZF Torque Flight, it's a night and day difference. But yeah, I don't miss the transmission. Again, if I was doing like full-time RVing again, I probably would want to get another Eisen, but the latest and greatest is what people always want, and I'm one of those people. I like to test out new things,
And this 6-speed is just, it is unforgiving for sure. Now, when you're hooked up to a trailer, oh my goodness, it's the best transmission you can ever have. Until I tow with that torque flight, and then I'll have to figure out if that's the case still. But yeah, I mean, when it comes down to the exhaust brake, oh yeah, it's already pulling me. It's just, and I'm only going 20 miles, again, it pulled me again. That's where it really shines for that 410. But yeah, let's go ahead and hop on the highway. We're gonna jump back into the 2025 now.
We're cruising on the highway. I'm at 65 miles an hour. And this truck is so much quieter. I can't wait to drive that 410 truck. Oh, I can't wait to do it. It's gonna be fun. And this feels like a GMC or a Chevy with the independent front suspension. I don't know what they did, but this is way more comfortable than they've ever been in the past. Even my 2019, though it was a single rear wheel, I feel like it was stiffer. Although that, never mind, that doesn't count because I had stiffer tires. Never mind, that doesn't count. And it was leveled, and that made it stiffer too. But this here, oh yeah, I could ride this all day long, unloaded. I mean, unloaded, if it rides good, it's gonna ride even better when you put some weight back there too. But it's so quiet. Like right now, idling, I'm just over 1,000 RPMs. And what's nice about this new powertrain, drivetrain setup is when you go to push the throttle, it just goes. Like there's no delay. Even the steering feels a little bit more looser with these. I don't know. I don't think they changed anything there either, but for some weird reason, for me, it just feels like a little bit disconnected with the driver. Yeah, the new mirrors, they did these back in 2023. I like them. I think they're way better than the ones that they replaced. I know some people complain about it, but no, these are way better. As far as wind noise goes, it's the same cab, so it's gonna be the same for both trucks. And it's pretty good. I really thought it was in my head, but it's not. Okay, let me turn off the alternate trailer height. Maybe that might help it. I feel like this truck is stiffer, even with the air suspension. Normally in the past, when you got air suspension, it was a game changer. But I feel as though this one is a little bit stiffer. I wonder if Ram changed something, just didn't talk about it, because it rides so much better. It really does. Like, I'm not making this up. Maybe I should go back and drive the other ones so you guys can see that this is stiffer with air suspension than normally. Here, let me put back an alternate trailer height. Maybe that might help a little bit. Maybe it might compress it. It is smoother right here too, which is nice. But yeah, the RPM, we're at 2,000 RPM at 70 miles an hour. We're already there. You can hear the engine a lot more, so you're ringing out that engine a little bit more too. And that's because when you're climbing grades, you don't want to be at 15 or 1,300 RPM. You want to be as high as you can be. That way, when you need to get going, you're not having to drop down so many gears to do so. So yeah, this one just keeps you, I think, more in the broadband already right out of the gate. But that exhaust brake, let's see. I don't think I did it right here. Actually, we'll do it later. But yeah, the exhaust brake is just crazy good on this one. So good, man. All right, so we're going about 60. Let's get down to 60 miles an hour. I'll try to do this in the same spot every time. All right, here we go. It's about 71 horsepower. Having the 8-speed, there's always pros and cons to everything, right? Never forget that. There's pros and cons to everything. But when you see it with the 2024, I bet you it's going to be a lot higher. Now, if you get a load back there, that's going to make a difference too. But yeah, I don't have tow haul mode on. I'm not going to do it because that will make it stronger. But there's no reason to show it to you in that way. But yeah, just remember the horsepower when I show you guys that 2024. See where we are at 60 miles an hour? We're easily at like 1,800, easily.
Yep, the 65. Yeah. That's the beauty of options, right? Maybe some guys and girls don't want to be at 2,000 RPMs at 65 miles an hour, right? They want to be at 1,500. And that's where that 2025 comes into play. Now, the 373 would be lower than this, but it wouldn't be much lower. Sometimes going from, I know like going from a 410 to like a 430, I think that's about 100 or so RPMs, 100 to 200 RPMs in between there. It's not a big jump, but yeah, let's go ahead and check out this exhaust brake. So we're going, what, 60? Here we go. You see my point? 89 horsepower. So yes, that's where that 410 comes out to play. And when you get taller tires with that 342, I'm willing to bet you that exhaust brake's gonna get worse. It's very possible. And that's why I really wish that Ram would have offered at least a 373 for sure. Here are the numbers for the 2025. They're gonna be the exact same for the 2024. And payload. If you didn't watch my last video I did on this truck has pretty big payload. So go back and watch why it has such big payload. As I said, these numbers aren't going to change between the trucks. But right here, you guys see? Payload is a little bit lower simply because of all the extra options this truck has. And it does have a fifth wheel prep package. And this one might even have the 50-gallon fuel tank too. Here is the midpoint. Let's go ahead and check out the fuel economy. This is more than likely going to be the best benefit with that 342. Because you're running a low RPM, you're going to be potentially getting better fuel economy. Exhaust brake is definitely there. It doesn't seem as strong as the previous years for sure, but I'm willing to give up that exhaust brake a little bit if I can get better fuel economy and whatnot, because I'm not doing hot shot. If I was doing towing 90% of the time, then yes, I would probably prefer that 410 with that, you know, that Cummins, because you're gonna get better braking out of that exhaust brake, all that good stuff. But yeah, 15.4 ain't bad. Here's the midpoint for the 2024. Now I drove these trucks the exact same. I even gave the 2025 a little bit of wide open throttle. You guys see right there? There it is. We're behind with this 2024 with that 410, and that's not a shocker. A 410 is going to hurt your fuel economy. It's not a if. It will. It's not if it will affect it. It will affect your fuel economy. I don't know if you guys will be able to see, but you can probably see right there, 410 axle ratio for the 2024 model year was $145. So again, now that you have deeper gears on that 8-speed transmission, you don't really need the lower gearing out back, but it would have been nice for those who wanted to get a taller tire, because obviously a taller tire is going to change the gearing for the truck. About 75 miles an hour. Not even at 2,000 RPMs, now at 80. I gotta get over. Yeah, just under 2,000 RPMs. That's what's so nice about this with the dualies. Again, I would still choose a 373 because knowing me, I would want to put 37s on this truck. So for me personally, that's why I would want the 373. So hopefully in the future, Ram at least offers that as an option for people. I mean, obviously that will increase the towing capacity of the truck too, and that's probably why they will never offer it, because then they will have to show you a higher towing capacity. But for me personally, I'll take a small hit on MPG to have a 373. I mean, the first gear in this transmission is like a 480 something, 489 I believe, is something crazy. So that's why they don't utilize a lower gearing on that rear axle. So should be back in a little bit, and I'll show you guys where we end off for the fuel economy. 73 miles an hour. See how much louder we are with that 410? We're really not just the 410, we're louder because the 6-speed, although no, we're in 6 gear, so I think it's a 0.63 to 1 with this one, it's a 0.64 to 1 with that new ZF torque flight, so that won't really make a difference. But no, it's the 410. I wish I could find a 373 Ram dually and just do a comparison, because that one could be a little bit quieter too, but at 80 miles an hour, you guys see where we are? We're like 23, 2400 RPMs. So you're gonna really hurt your fuel economy when you're cruising at 80. So if you're looking to do towing for a living, you're not driving like you could on that ZF torque flight. So that's where that torque flight wins. You have deeper gears and you don't necessarily have to utilize low gearing to do what you can with better gearing in the transmission. The steps are closer, so you just have better overall control when you're looking to do some heavy lifting. And yeah, you can probably save some money on fuel economy as well. At this point, this is old news, but this high output Cummins for the 2025 model year is the only Cummins you can get, whether you get 2500, 3500, 430 horsepower, 1075 pound-feet of torque. All that power goes to an 8-speed transmission. Let's see how it performs. Here we go. Here is the 2024. This is going to have 420 horsepower, 1075 pound-feet of torque. All that power goes through that Eisen 6-speed transmission. Let's see how it performs. Here we go. We ended off at 15.8. That's what we'll use, 15.8, because it took me some time to get my camera to come on. But 12.3 miles driven. Let's see how this 2024 does. 14.2 MPG, 12.3 miles driven. As I said, the 410 does have its advantages, but yeah, you're going to take a hit on fuel economy for sure. Ram has always done a good job of giving options in the past, and I'm not sure why they decided to go in the direction of GM, because Ford does it the best. They give you options for the dualies. If you get an F-350, you can get a 410 still with their 10-speed transmission. Now, do you need that 410? Probably not, but if you plan on running bigger tires, then maybe you should option your truck that way. Now, I believe they come standard with the 355 on the dualies. However, if you get a single rear wheel, you can get a 331 standard or a 355. That is not a big difference for gearing. I think the only reason why Ford did that is for those who want to run those taller tires. I really think that's why they do it. I could be wrong, but you do increase the towing capacity, but it's really not that big of a difference in gearing. It's really probably for those wanting to run those bigger tires. But all in all, I had fun today. I've been wanting to do this video, but I've been putting it off, and today I said, nope, I want to do this video today. So yes, I'm excited. If you didn't watch my last video on this one, this truck has big payload, as you saw, and I explained why in a previous video. So if I do remember, I'll put it into this one for you guys. But yeah, be sure to subscribe to the channel, make sure the bell notifications are on. Thank you guys for watching. See you soon.